Welcome to the first episode of Dark Zone Radio. That's right, you heard it correctly. Crucible Radio is talking about The Division, Tom Clancy's new hit game, and how it compares to our favorite game, Destiny. The good, the bad, the ugly, the Dark Zone Radio.
Who really is Tom Clancy?
Find out.
Bones, can you make those Mario noises again?
Wait, what?
He's just so good at doing the Mario noise. This guy's...
That's so out of left field.
But, could you do like the 3-stage jump for me? We'll cut right after that.
Yeah. Wahoo!
Hey, Swain.
Hi, birds. How are you?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Well, hey.
How are you, Bones?
I'm good.
Whoa, hey.
That's crazy
The
that you
old switcheroo.
It's amazing that you said that. Birds, how are you?
Ooh, I'm good.
What's happening right now?
We probably have some new listeners to the show coming over from the Division side of things, wondering what the heck we're doing. It's pretty much always like this, but we try and wrap it up pretty quickly. Welcome to Crucible Radio,
The Division
Podcast for all things
episode.
Destiny PvP.
and also the Division this week. Because we're not gonna lie, we all been playing the Division. It's fun. I've been waiting a long time for this game. It's the Destiny killer. So says games journalism. Are we games journalism now?
I think so.
Okay, well, I'm not saying it's the Destiny killer, but it certainly is an interesting compare and contrast, and that's what we're going to do this episode.
You know the Michael Scott quote where he says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? Wayne Gretzky, in quotes, Michael Scott. We give this game a 9 out of 10. IGN, in quotes, Crucible Radio.
Ooh. Deep levels.
Okay, so here's what's actually happening. Yes, we've been playing The Division, and yes, it has been compared to Destiny time after time for the past 2 years almost, since almost both of them were kind of hyped around the same time at E3 2013. At least that's when I started paying attention to both games. And we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to give our review of the game and compare it to our favorite game, Destiny, because, yes, they do have lots of similarities. And look, we like to experience new things, and there's not a lot going on in Destiny right now, so it's the perfect time to sort of branch out and see what's up with other games. And with the way this has been talked about all week, and, you know, all your favorite streamers and YouTubers are trying to switch over and maybe do some content about it, we want to see how does it stack up against Destiny? What do we like about it? What don't we like about it? Maybe what even it does better than Destiny, and overall how it makes us feel about our favorite game. Is that right?
I think that covers it. I think that's it. I mean, all right, right off the bat, we downloaded it. We did our digital downloads. I don't know. Did you guys get discs?
Well, yeah,
Hard copy, baby.
My PS4 has started spitting out discs. So
Yeah, mine too.
I don't think I want any more discs.
Just download it. Well, we got it. We played it. Initial impression, let's say the first hour of playing. What did you like? What jumped out at you?
Can we talk about the second hour of play? Because the first hour was trying to activate my agent on a laptop.
Okay, that's fair.
Damn it, Bungie.
Bungie!
Somehow this is Bungie's fault. Okay, first hour was a little tricky. Let's go to hour 2. I have been doing jumping jacks and clapping outside of the base waiting for you guys for 1 hour, and now we're ready to do it. What'd you think?
Well, I think right when we jumped in, we realized how satisfying it was being on a team of 3. I mean, I don't think I shot my gun before I was teamed up. Since then, I have played solo, and it is it's fun. It's exhilarating. There's a few tricky missions that I really was, I had my nerves up trying to play it solo, but it is a very satisfying game to play with people. And honestly, I don't have a desire to do too much main story-wise without my friends. If I'm playing solo, I'll probably pick up side missions and stuff like that. But, knowing us, we all love call-outs. We're all just saying, 3 o'clock, I'm using this. We're talking about our abilities. And that, utilizing every good aspect of the game was fun right off the bat.
I definitely noticed that same aspect of playing with a fire team because I have gone back and sort of, I'm going to grind out my tech wing or something for an hour or so. And a lot of the game mechanics don't really bloom until you can sort of think as a team. I mean, there's moments where it's like, all right, well, I'm going to hole up here. I'm going to stay in cover. I'm going to snipe this guy. And all right, the best way for me to get through this mission is to sit in the back and then very carefully take headshots while hiding behind cover. And once you get past a certain level, you can't really just go full on gung-ho flanks with the shotgun. When you have 3 team members, all of a sudden it becomes so much more fun because one person can play that role while somebody else flanks around and someone else is using their abilities, and the actual gunplay of it makes a little bit more sense. It's sort of very static and very cover based, which is fine. But you can make moves when you can rely on your teammates to back it up. On my own, I wasn't quite having that same experience.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the game is beautiful. I love the way
Absolutely.
it looks, the way you're just like in this like decrepit version of New York City, and like the cutscenes were cool and all that. But it was a little overwhelming for me right off the bat, and that goes into my gameplay as well. Like I haven't had a chance to play as much, and part of it is because it hasn't grabbed me as well as Destiny has right off the bat. I feel like this game has a lot going for it, and it throws it all at you at once. And it's like, here's everything. And it's too much for me. Like I it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's got all these aspects to it. But it's not, I feel like it's not simplified enough for me. And that is my main problem with keeping my interest in it.
There's definitely something about the learning curve. Like there were a ton of moments where like somebody in my fire team would be like, "Oh my God, I've got so much health right now." I'm like, "Wait, where do you see how much health you have?" Or it's like, "I'm using this new perk on my new talent." And I'm like, "What?" And then they do give you like these little tutorial screens, but the tutorial screens are at the end of a mission when you're like all full of adrenaline and you just got some gear, and they're like, "All right, here's how you climb up and down." It's like, I don't want to see that. I want to look at the new gun.
It was sort of
I got.
weird, the timing on those. They sort of popped up when I either had figured it out by, hands-on experience, or I just didn't care anymore. And I was like, thank you, but I kind of figured this out.
Those perk things, especially with like the different wings, they like, I'm sure they mean a lot, and it was just hard for me to be like, oh, 3% for this? I don't even know what that thing is yet. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I even care about upgrading this right now?
You don't want 2.5% threat reduction. Apparently, like that's 2.5% less of a threat. Or is it?
Is that like handling on my gun?
more
in
of a
Destiny?
threat?
Let's be fair, though. Do you want 2.5% aim assist target acquisition? I mean, what do these things mean?
That's fair. That's fair. We have had a lot of time to sort of learn Destiny. I mean, I think a lot of the expectation that people had about Destiny was it's like, hey, it's an open world and you can go anywhere and you'll be able to explore. And what we got was much more of a sort of on rails and in a lot of ways kind of menu-based experience of like, all right, let's fly into this map, and it's a very sort of enclosed, encapsulated space. And I think a lot of people criticize Destiny for that reason because they were expecting that. Having seen it play out in the Division and having a very, very dense main menu, but then having to run everywhere, a lot of sprinting, a lot of long
Oh my
distance
God, so much sprinting.
It's just like, oh, give me a sparrow. Like, when do they unlock the sparrows? Like, if I could have a motorcycle in this game and just book it across Manhattan, I would be a happy camper.
You have to go to Goldenrod City and deliver something for the guy that owns the bikes, and he'll give you a bike.
I don't know what you're talking about. I found my bike in a
Pokemon
cave.
podcast here.
Can't find a cave in this New York. I thought Manhattan had more caves. I don't. Maybe that's
I thought Manhattan had more Pokemon.
that's true. It does have a lot of criminals escaped from a prison who can suck up like 150 bullets from a machine gun before they.
So realistic.
Oh, before we talk about that, I do want to jump back to what Swain was first saying about the simple fact that you get a lot thrown at you. I have to say that I really appreciate the themes and the aesthetic. You know, the waypoint, thin yellow line, the way the menu pops up beneath your feet if you're on the map or next to you. Very seamless. You know, I'm not being transported to some other screen. It's just sort of right there. All of that I like, the color scheme and everything. I will say that if not for Destiny, I would not have known what is happening. I think I used a lot of my concepts and knowledge from Destiny of how menus work, what colors mean on weapons, and all that sort of thing. And I mean, it's nearly identical. I mean, green, blue, purple, yellow, all of those little things, the way the systems work, I had a much easier time learning the Division because of Destiny. And yeah, I mean, the menus are still, there's still lots of numbers and letters that I just sort of tune out because I'm enjoying the game and I don't care if my DPS isn't perfect. But if I do want to really get into min-maxing, because I love to tinker, I'll have to sit down and honestly just go, what is happening? There's so many numbers here.
Well, there's also sort of been the realization that the Division is a dangerous game to try and stream because for every 5 minutes of action, there's like another 10 minutes back at the base, like comparing different suppressors, dismantling stuff and like reorganizing and thinking, do I want this or do I want this?
That kind of got me a little upset after like listening to, like I have a few friends that got to like level 15 or level 20 or whatever it is. And they come back and be like, oh, don't even bother doing any, like messing with any of your gear when you're that low. And I'm like, oh, damn. I spent like 25 minutes like dismantling and like upgrading stuff and moving stuff around. And it's like, I think you described the best, Bones. It's like, oh, in Destiny, you wouldn't just be like moving around your greens and figuring it out. Like, get out here and play the mission with us. And
That's
like,
just
yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just like, all this stuff, too much.
Honestly, that's kind of one of my least favorite things about both games. And I don't have some sort of cure for it, and it's really such a low priority for me in the long run. But just the concept of hundreds of guns in a game, but 3/4, if not more, I dismantle immediately. I never understood that. I just don't get the process of having white, green, blue guns when all we care about in the end is purple. And after a day of leveling, maybe I just play too much on day one, but you know, I haven't cared so much about a cool blue weapon since literally day one of Destiny, where I had this awesome shotgun that I used throughout the Venus levels. And then as soon as I realized that didn't matter, it just became strange that so much existed that wouldn't be used once I had gotten to at least halfway through the game.
They kind of switched up in Taken King for Destiny, where they introduced the light level system. Mm-hmm. That kind of made your blues and your other guns a little bit more useful. I really liked that about the way things were in Taken King, because immediately, as soon as we did that first mission, you get a sidearm that's like way better than anything you already have. And it's like, oh, great, this is blue. I can't remember the last time I had a blue piece of armor or gear on, but it's kind of cool.
And I think we probably used those blues for about 24 hours, too, before we got ourselves some purples.
Or another blue.
The coolest thing about Division in regards to lower level weapons, I think, is the mod system. And we should talk about the mod system later, but the fact that I can mod something, but also just remove them and toss that gun aside when I get a new one and just bring over my extended mag and my scope and stuff like that, that's so cool. And just, I can put work into a gun.
Let's save that because I want to talk about that for real. I will say, in terms of all of the guns that you get, I guess I take sort of a different approach, which is that when you're leveling up a character and you know that the guns you're getting are going to be irrelevant in 2 or 3 levels, like I think I sort of accepted that from the beginning. So every time I got a new gun that was my new strongest gun, it was sort of an incentive for me to say like, all right, it might not be my favorite so far, but I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to use it. And that grind, even though it all ends up being throwaway, is kind of a good way to introduce you to all the different types of guns in this game. Mm-hmm. And I think there's one very particular thing that makes a lot of different gun types in the Division viable as compared to Destiny, where there tend to be a couple really dominant ones. But we'll come back to that. Too. I will say I'm so insanely excited every time I see a blue drop in this game. And it's been like almost 4 days. So I think Taken King only had me for like a day or so rooting for some new blue. I think it's a darker shade of blue and it's kind of neon and transparent, and that really works on the loot section of my brain.
I was playing with Medical Otter on a level 9 mission, and a purple dropped for him out of this box. I was so jealous. Not an emotion I've experienced in a long time where I'm just like, you what? How come you got that? Why didn't I get a purple? Let's play more. I need a purple. Let's play more.
Yeah, I do really like that, like, that's all there is to the guns. There isn't, like, a perk tree you have to level out and materials that you have to put into the gun. It's like, here's your gun.
Materials to put into a gun.
Here's your gun. You want to put a mod on it, you put the mod on it. There's nothing crazy about it, nothing you have to do to level it up. All of your experience goes towards your Dark Zone level or your regular level. I like that.
Well, and you can get the same gun at different rarity levels. Like, I had a shotgun that I first found as a green one that I really liked, and then when I got the blue version later, it was like, oh, it's like the same gun, but it's got, I don't know, some extra like perk abilities or something. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's the same thing. It's the same core experience. It's just got a little something extra to it. And I think that is what makes some of the green weapons viable, if it just happens to have happens to feel good and happens to have that good overall DPS number on it. Where it's, I really do have to check to see if this new green thing I got is better, instead of just saying, well, there's no way it could possibly compare to a blue. That, I don't know. It's certainly, I do like managing large amounts of items using a semi-difficult UI, trying to optimize on the order of 2%. I happen to enjoy that. So
I like what you said about using the lower level guns gives you a good feel for them. And you just said it right there, where you can get the same gun to drop at a higher level. And now I already know that when I get some purples, I can be more excited or less excited about them, because I know that I currently enjoy the ACR a lot. I'm not too big a fan of the AK-47. So if a purple ACR drops, I'm going to be so jacked. And I know that I already love the feel of that gun. And that makes playing the lower level guns more important than just like, well, don't get attached to this because I'm going to throw it in the garbage as soon as something else drops.
All right. Well, we've been talking a lot about guns. Let's talk about the actual gunplay. I mean, the core of both games is shooting stuff with things. And that's, in a lot of ways, I think that's really the main thing. That's sort of what keeps you coming back. Obviously, there's some big differences between Destiny and The Division, main one being time to kill. But overall, with the gunplay, what do you think? Swain? Fart noise? Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm spoiled. There's no way of talking about it. Like, I'm spoiled by Destiny. Destiny's gunplay is
unparalleled.
Almost perfect. Like, I have almost no criticisms about how the weapons handle in Destiny. And this just feels clunky and not so satisfying.
You realize the importance of aim assist, like, people complaining about, aim assist snipers.
Oh my God,
in Destiny.
sniping in The Division is just like, stop moving.
Right? Like, you really realize how imperfect a controller is for aiming when you don't have the aim assist to help you.
Where you have to, like, click the R3 button so that you can zoom in. It's like, why do I gotta do that?
Yeah, just give it a rest. But I mean, even more than that, like, it's not as fun, right? Like, it is fun being able to do snapshots, being able to like flick the reticle towards somebody and pull the trigger at the right time. I mean, it still takes skill.
So
it's
satisfying.
just the fact that it's possible. I mean, and it's available for everyone to not be able to do that and have every snipe be like a slow and careful lineup. Maybe that's more realistic, but let's put realism aside when we're talking about Destiny. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. It doesn't quite feel as good.
I had one mission where I did get a carbine and I played it solo. It was in the shopping mall, And this sniper was strong enough to headshot and kill. And I had a great time running through this level like a covert sniper, just taking them out one by one as they ran across from me. But then the very next level, it was slightly underleveled, so it would leave them with a sliver of health. And suddenly I'm doing the 1,000-yard to last word flip. And it becomes so exhausting and like switching and reloading and stuff. And okay, you got to put more bullets in the head. You got to have 2 headshots to kill. So I got a faster firing carbine, which made it better. But I missed that, just being like, dang, I can just lay him out with this sniper. I can't help but kind of chuckle at the amount of bullets that go into bodies. I get it that it's an RPG. It's how things work. I've put billions and billions and billions of rounds into Valis to Arik and it's the same silly concept, but watching a dude in like baggy jeans and a sweater run across the street and just have like 36 bullets in his leg and just be like, no, like keep running. I'm just like, what is happening? It just feels weird. I get it. It's the game mechanic. I don't have a problem with that part, but it's just funny.
Something that like really gets me in the moment that like just frustrates the hell out of me is I am so used to holding the weapon spot button to get to my heavy, and I try and do it every single time for the sidearm. And I'm like, I switch to the one. I'm like, that's not what I wanted, and then I end up shooting them up close with the carbine, and it's like, I just want to get my sidearm. Just like I'll tap it twice and it'll go back to the primary, and I'm like, what? No, stop.
Nothing will level up with Destiny in that way.
I've been gravitating towards some of the light machine guns in the Division, and not like the crazy like 100-round mag ones, but like a nice like 50, 60. And I like them because you don't have to reload as much, and reloading is definitely a time-consuming thing in this game. Mm-hmm. But mostly because it's hilarious to me, where like a guy is walking towards me, and I'm just holding down the trigger on a machine gun, just unloading 10, 20, 30. Like if I can get all the way up to 65 bullets, which is how much my current machine gun has in it, just laying into him so much daka, and he's like half dead, and I have to reload like that.
That human body is now filled with as much metal as he has blood and organs.
He's more bullet than man at this point.
There's so much inside of him. It is just bonkers.
I mean, so I'm willing to suspend disbelief. I will say that I think there's one upshot to this, with one big exception, which is that I can imagine, at least, from what little I understand of it, it seems like it's a heck of a lot easier to balance different gun types and different archetypes within the guns when the time to kill is so much longer. Because like that's a tricky thing in Destiny, is that time to kill is usually under, hopefully under a second if you're using a top tier gun, and even lower than that. And it really comes down to fractions of a second. In the Division, it's multiple seconds of shooting and then sometimes reloading and shooting another entire clip at somebody. That there's just a lot more wiggle room to say like, hey, you like assault rifles? Use an assault rifle. You like carbines? Use a carbine. You want to, I don't know what are the other gun types. You want to use a marksman's rifle? They're not snipers. A marksman's rifle, that's cool. The big exception, of course, being shotguns, which are super fun and hilarious in this game.
If you lower the TTK, I think you need more bodies to make the levels, a proper length and have enough combat. And then you have hundreds of apparent thugs in New York all inside this one building, and that's just bonkers. So that's almost less realistic than people just taking a lot of time to shoot, but I don't know.
In news today, 40 million convicts have escaped from Rikers Island with an estimated 30 billion more.
People have been coming in droves to New York, risking the infection just to maybe loot a store that's already been pretty thoroughly looted.
Oh, can I just say for a second, like, I'm willing to suspend disbelief, but look, I see somebody looting a dead body in the street and I'm supposed to kill them on sight. I spend all of my time looting dead bodies. Why? Like, shoot me. I'm a criminal too. We're all criminals. It's the end of the world. We're looters. Like,
we are the wolves, man.
I know. All right, fine. I'll suspend disbelief.
I like just like running into a bunch of guys in a jeans store. They're like, I got my jeans dirty. Time to loot it.
Looting people's apartments is the best because then you get all of the new clothes. And I will say the clothing metagame in the
so
Division
good.
on point. Like when I got a purple puffy jacket to match my purple slouchy hat. It's all coming together, guys.
I've played Ubisoft games for a long time. All of the Assassin's Creeds,
Booby stuff.
Watch Dogs for a week until I sold it back. A lot of games. I have so many Uplay points stored up that I have never cared about
Jealous.
spending.
So
And here I
jealous
am
of
in the
your
Uplay
dope
store
outfits.
buying all of the jackets and all of the hats and all that crap. It's just like, I need that Division iconic jacket. I need it.
When you told me that there was a thing you can unlock in the tech wing that gives you a free article of clothing once every 12 hours, I forgot every other goal I had in this game. And it's just like, that's all I care about. And I got a purple slouchy hat out of it. Like,
It's all about
game
unlocking
over.
that vendor.
Just the best.
I really want to talk about level design, the PvE side of it, more specifically the actual story missions and some side missions. But I want to talk about how you progress through those missions, maybe a little bit about how the story is driven. But I have found that I really, really enjoy the aspect of cover-based shooter, moving up, moving back, using abilities to set up a stronghold or playing a more mobile game. I've found that gameplay to be really fun. I don't know about you guys.
There's definitely more of an opportunity to sort of, I don't want to say slow play. It definitely is slower playing, but to sort of be strategic, to have tactics. You do the same thing in Destiny. It just happens so fast because you're so fast, and the sort of team interactions are so mobile and they just happen so quickly. With the Division, and I think the time to kill helps with this. With the Division, when you have 4 people on your team and there's 8 enemies on the team, you can sort of play a chess game and sort of think about it and say, like, all right, I'm going to move up here to do a flank and not have a fraction of a second to commit to that decision. You can sort of plan it out. You can communicate these things instead of just needing your teammates to, psychically understand what you're doing and what you're about to do. When it comes to the level design, I have gotten used to a specific mechanic where it's like, all right, I ran into a room and I shot all the guys pointing this way, and then I ran to where they were. And then an objective is cleared, and now I'm going to turn around to shoot the enemies coming from the other way, using the cover that the guys who I killed when I first came in were using to shoot at me. Like, there's definitely a structure there. But I don't mind it. It's fun, and it's, it took Destiny a year to figure out that you can just run a level backwards, and it's a whole new experience. I feel like every environment that I play, I'm playing it both directions at least a third of the time.
I will say I really love the cover system. The goddamn cover system.
It's fluid.
It's so easy to move from place to place. Once I set it up so that all I have to do is look in a direction and hold X, and it moves me to that spot.
That's nice.
So nice. And then you could shooting from cover. Woo. That's fun.
It makes sense, and it's because you mentioned shooting from cover. The blind fire, just like holding your gun up and pointing your
man, that
trigger
is
them.
OP.
Oh, it's the best.
How many
It's the best.
shotguns just pump right over a cement barrier? Just like, back off, dude.
There's definitely, I've noticed with the cover, especially with the marksman rifles, there's definitely a rhythm to it when you're outnumbered or there's just a lot of bullets flying, where you have to pop up, take the shot, go back down, wait for the rate of fire to catch up, pop up, take the next one. With some of the faster shooting ones, it's not an issue. But yeah, that ability to move from cover to cover and to not have to worry about getting caught up on the environment or sort of running into a bad corner on a box, just having that handled and just being able to execute a flank sort of cognitively without having to mechanically do everything perfect in this game. It opens up some strategy there.
Crap, I tripped over a rock and now I can't move anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I really love about the level flow and the cover system and the way those play a part. Yes, similarly to Destiny, there is a period of time where you go to one sort of area, you fight there, and then you move on. But I kind of like the Division AI that says, fuck you, we're going to try to kill you. And instead of having some invisible barrier where they chase you down a hallway, but if I back onto these steps, it will just slowly back up, moving backwards like a captain.
You
where I was
better
like,
not
cool,
come
I'm
into
down
this
here.
room, man. You
They
stay
are
in your
gonna-
room. This is my room.
Like, unlike these thugs, I guess, have way more confidence than a fallen captain because they are like, I'm sprinting into that room you just hid in. Oh, you want to run back through the level? I don't care. I'm following you. And
I have literally run out the front of the level that I realized I was under-leveled for, and they follow you right out into the street. They're not attached to this apartment building. They
don't care.
Where are you going? Let's go there.
But I love that because it causes this move forward, flow back, move up, retreat a little bit movement, as opposed to peek out in front of this one door for 20 minutes, then peek out in front of another door. And of course, there's a lot of similar vibes where you're in one spot relatively for a while, but I think there is some good movement, and backing up does not mean that you are safe if you just move back 5 feet. I think that's really cool.
I have one complaint about the cover system, which is that I feel like in Destiny, and I'm talking about the PvE side, when I pop out of cover, I know if I'm about to be shot because all of the enemies telegraph their motions very well, and a lot of the enemies' projectiles have travel time. So like with the dregs, right? They shoot sort of the slow moving ones. Mm-hmm. So you can sort of see that coming, and you can play against it. Same thing with the wire rifle. You see them do the animation. You know that the bolt's about to come in a sec, and you can sort of use that to your advantage. I feel like there's moments where I pop out of cover and I'm looking around. I can see all the enemies. I don't feel like they're getting ready to point at me and shoot at me, and I can take the shot. And then some damage just starts occurring. I don't know who it's from. I can't see the bullet tracers. It just gets this, like, I feel like I'm playing just like a simulation where they say, like, if you spend X seconds out of cover, you'll start receiving damage at this rate, and it will go up over time, where it's like, now people actually have to point guns at me and shoot them if they're going to hurt me, please.
Those dudes flank, though. They know how to flank.
Oh, they know how to flank.
They work on their pushes. These guys came from the sweaty scene, apparently. They know what's going on.
The Rikers guys.
Better have your shotgun ready. All right, well, I have to say, I've not played all of the story missions yet. I like them. I think they've got a lot of good variety. But this is the show for all things Destiny PvP, and we should talk about the PvP side of this game. But before we get to that, we've got to give a shout out to our sponsor this week.
So, guys, Pope Bear asked me, how do you sleep at night when you use the thorn? My answer is, I have a Casper mattress. These guys sent me one of these awesome, memory foam, latex foam mattresses. They are amazing. I sleep great knowing that I spent all afternoon using Thorn and the Crucible. And now you too can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by going to casper.com/crucible and using code crucible.
That's us.
That is us.
Yup, that's right. So Casper brings together two comfy technologies. You got better nights, you got brighter days. It's latex foam and memory foam, so they've got just the right sink and the right bounce no matter how you sleep. And they've got a risk-free trial and return policy. They deliver it to you. You can try it for 100 days, and if you're not happy, they pick it right up.
I bought a mattress about a year ago. I wish I'd known about Casper. We just went to like one of the mattress stores and like sat on all of them for a minute. You don't know what it's like to actually sleep on a mattress. And I wish I had had a chance to try one out. With Casper, you're going to get a lot more than just a minute to try out this mattress. You get 100 days. And look, mattresses are expensive, but Casper is offering $500 for a twin size mattress, $950 for a king size mattress. Having bought a mattress, that is an outstanding price, especially considering what you're getting. You're getting a memory foam mattress. This is not like cheap springs or something. So check it out. Go to casper.com/crucible. Use code crucible. You're going to get $50 towards any mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. But check it out. Get a better night's sleep.
Do it. You can use the Thorn. No one will hate you.
feel better about Thorn.
You may struggle during the days, but at night you will
Sleep
like a
soundly.
baby.
What if I have no shame and I run Thorn shotgun Sunsinger with Ram?
Get
You're,
yourself a Casper. You'll sleep great.
Yeah. You're going to need 2 different types of foam for that. So
Well, despite being a troll in the Destiny PvP world, we can talk about the Division PvP world, where I am not very good at it and don't know the OP meta. Is there a meta yet? Do we know? Can we say that? Is there a meta?
I think it's the Mida. No lie. I think the gun that is labeled Midas is the meta now.
okay, I need one of those. No, I feel like the meta is I don't know if it has a name for the shade step, the dodge roll thing. You just dodge roll on up to people. You shoot
No
them with the
cooldown.
shotgun 100 times. Yeah, no cooldown. Just dodge roll is your only form of moving around. You know, shoot them 7 times with the shotgun up close. Dodge roll away. I don't know. I feel like the Dark Zone, which is a fantastic name. I feel like the Dark Zone is sort of designed to like bring out the griefer and the game of chicken out of people in sort of a PvP setting.
This sort of PvP setting is really new to me. Being as how like Destiny is my first real, FPS PvP type game. And I don't, it just feels a little too one note for me. It's like you're either like shooting these guys and running, or you are helping other guys shoot. I don't know. It's not the same, and it doesn't scratch the same itch that Destiny does for me, where I can load into this playlist and I know there's going to be all these different great maps instead of just like, oh, here's New York. Oh, here's a different part of New York. Oh, you're on top of a building in New York. So I don't know. It's not. That's definitely not scratching the same itch that Destiny PvP does for me.
Yeah, I'm more of a Chicago boy. I'd love to see, the loop, some shoot around the loop, and maybe hit
Get
down
some
to
deep dish.
yeah, get down to Giordano's and break in there and get some weapon parts and some pizza, some deep dish.
I am going to say first, Bones, this is not the Watchdog podcast, and also impeccable. Very nicely
could you
done.
imagine?
You've transported me to Chicago. It's
thank you.
truly
I have
something.
uncles from Chicago, and when I go home, I'm terrified to realize that they're all just characters from that SNL sketch.
So I think when you have a PvP section of a game and it's got NPCs in it that you have to fight, like that's saying something. I think like the PvP really shows off the difference between these games, which is the Destiny is a shooter. It sort of feels like an MMORPG. And the Division is an RPG that happens to use not even FPS.
3PS.
It's like sometimes 1 PS and sometimes 3 PS. I don't know. It's that, but it's an RPG at heart. And you see that when you're, I don't feel like you say, like if you took the Division, gameplay and dropped it into, Frontier or Blind Watch, it wouldn't work. Like you can't have that same experience. I will say that the mechanic of the Dark Zone, where you sort of have this game theory prisoner's dilemma thing going on with every other person you see who's not on your team, and you have to extract this gear, and you're all just sort of like last scene of Reservoir Dogs with each other, just like waiting for somebody to shoot while this timer, ticks down, and making sure, like the psychological aspect of it the first time, like that had my heart racing. I enjoyed that. Like they realized they had to do something different with the PvP in this game, and they did. And I think what they executed was pretty good. Like it definitely feels chaotic and kind of, it's got that sort of end of the world sort of trust no one, but
Yeah.
it's not so explicit. You have to kill everyone else out there.
I mean, like when you're trying to airlift all of your supplies out, and all of a sudden like 10 people show up, and you're like, oh God.
Jerks, just let me get my gear.
It's like, this ain't gonna end well, I don't think.
I can't think of another PvP experience where you have that standoff though, like you said, where it's like everyone is in there to get loot, but they also want to be good people. Sometimes they don't. They'll just outright try to kill you. But when you have that moment of like, are we about to shoot each other? It's like, it's such a weird vibe, and it's very intense. I always put myself I'm in the mindset of like that episode of The Office where they play the Old West game. And then Jim comes to pick up Pam to go home, and he opens the conference room, and Michael and Pam and everyone have guns pointed at each other, and Pam backs out slowly and she says, I ain't going down for this.
There was a moment where like me and Greenie were huddled up in a corner, like covering the angles, just watching this drop zone, watching the timer. And these two guys are sort of like moving around us and sizing us up. And one of them salutes at me. And it's like, oh, what? You want me to salute you back so you can shoot me when I salute you? I'm not going to salute you. I'm not moving to look at it. Look at the gun. I'm holding it. And like,
I'm in your head, bro. I know what you're trying to do. You're nervous.
Yeah. That is fun. I can, if this is going to be something that like longevity wise, I'm going to keep coming back to this PvP. I can't see myself playing a version of the Dark Zone where gear matters at all. The only way this is going to be fun for me long term is being a bad guy and like explicitly ruining people's day, because I feel like Destiny got that right. Like with like snipers and the headshot sound that it makes, like that splat, like it taps into that thing that makes you want someone else to go, oh. I can't see anything being fun PvP wise after I've got the gun that I want, aside from griefing people, which is, to be fair, super fun, and I could see keep me interested for a while.
I have 2 tips for the Dark Zone. One, you can let your little BB-8 bomb, and I've coined that term, by the way. My tracking, mine is, I call it BB-8. And I could put BB-8 by my feet and he'll follow me around. But if anyone shoots me, he knows an enemy and he'll go get you. So you kind of have this like safety net right here where it's like, hey, if you shoot me, this bomb is heading right for you. And I like that kind of move where you can just have it trail you around. Second tip for the Dark Zone is don't follow Birds anywhere, because he will run into a room, shoot someone, and make you a rogue immediately.
Hey, it was my first trip. I couldn't tell if you guys kept telling me they were NPCs. I just thought he was an NPC with a cool
I'm
name.
like, all right, let's group up. Let's check this out. Like, oh, no, don't shoot him. Don't shoot him.
I did not understand the mechanics for a while. I'll proudly say that.
It made it exciting.
Yeah, certainly makes it exciting.
I think my final thought on the Dark Zone and endgame content for the Division, this is a fun game that scratches the itch of the looty shooty in the way that Destiny does when new content comes out, but I feel like the Dark Zone activity is something I have a lot of fun with if all of my friends are interested and that's what we choose to do.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just not something I'm going to just want to grind out all the time. It's same as like Rocket League. Beautiful game.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very Rocket League.
Fun gameplay. Awesome time with people. I've never not had a blast playing Rocket League with people, but I don't do it every day because that's not what everyone's doing. And I won't play the Dark Zone every day because unless I have 3 other friends to go run around and make havoc, then it's not going to be my favorite thing. But I imagine some people will like that a lot.
All right, let's be honest. Gut check. Do you guys think you're going to be playing the Division a month from now?
A month from now? I hope I'm playing something new in Destiny.
That's a tough question.
No, the short answer is no. I won't be playing it as nearly as much as I am right now.
I'll probably say the same if I'm just being perfectly honest. I can see myself coming back for new content. I could see myself spending a good week or 2 absorbing new stuff as it comes along. Unlike Destiny, where once I've done the PvE, I now get on that PvP grind and I work on it like it's a sport that I want to get good at.
Yep.
I won't do that the same way. I won't approach Division, but I will also take Division slower a little bit and, savor the feeling of playing through all those missions and stuff. But it doesn't have that same community pull of like, this is my favorite thing to do every day with all my friends.
I do think that the thing that I'm most worried about is that I'm going to fall behind quick. If I'm going to stop playing for like a week and all of a sudden I will be so far behind everyone else that I'll just be like, is it worth it at this point to like keep going? I don't know. That'll be my hardest problem.
I didn't realize how much I appreciated the Crucible level balancing thing that happens, because I logged on after work today and I was playing with Greek for a minute, and I was like, hey, what are you doing right now? And he's like, I'm just doing this story mission. What level are you? And I'm like, I'm level 17. He goes, wait, you're level 17? I'm level 17. And we realized that we could play together. If you're not perfectly lined up, if you're one or two levels apart, like, good luck. Somebody's going to be carrying or somebody is going to be struggling to keep up.
Getting hyped up to go into the Dark Zone and then realizing that Greenie was on a different server because he was 15 and you and I were 14, like, it just like immediately sucked it out for me. Yeah. And now I go, all right, let's go grind a story because I want to get there and I want to play with you guys, but it split you off immediately. I don't know. It's a mechanic that I understand, but it was, I don't know, wasn't my favorite thing to have happen.
I mean, thinking about the games that have really kept me going over time, I think you need a combination of, and I'm making this up as I go, so it's probably way out of left field, but like the 3 games that have really caught me in the past year, obviously Destiny, my one and only. Recently, Bloodborne has just, oh my God, that game. And Civ 5. I think these games
I suck at that, but it's so good.
Well, exactly. I think that's what makes a game fun to keep coming back to, is that it's got a learning curve, and it is a curve. It's not just, from 0 to 100%, but it's also hard. And there really is a ton of room to grow skill-wise. I mean, with Destiny, you can come in and play some PV and go, okay, this is fun, and then go into the Crucible and just get destroyed. And then you break 1.0, and then your team starts winning matches, and then you're making it to the 5th or 6th round in trials, and then you're going to the lighthouse, and it's like it's got this progression. And I feel like, how long have we been playing this game? We all still have a ton of room to grow, and you can say the same thing about Bloodborne. You can definitely say the same thing about Civ 5, that that perfection tester of a game. Oh. And with The Division, I realize right now I'm having the maximum amount of fun with this game that I'm going to have with it right now. That it's going to start to taper off from here, because there's only so much skill required to get yourself positioned in the right place when you have automatic cover-to-cover movement and line up a shot and hold down the trigger. And I want to play the raid. I really want to, do the Dark Zone thing right and really figure out the best way to make sure people don't get the stuff that they were really looking forward to owning. But playing a month from now, I don't know. If you guys are still playing a month from now, I'll be playing a month from now. If you guys aren't, and I don't have anyone else on my friends list who's still keeping this going, then hard to say. We'll see.
Yeah. Swain, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I would like to give it some more time. Hopefully I'll have some more free time soon. I'll be able to give it its fair share of attention, maybe catch up to you guys as far as leveling is concerned, and we can have some more fun.
I'm telling you right now, Swain, you're never going to catch up to me until we're all level 30. not going to happen.
You can catch up to me. I don't care.
Aww.
I'm in no hurry.
So, well, fine. You can catch up to me too. I can be nice. I can't. If being nice means I'm not going to be obsessed with this game. Well, okay. So we basically all just said that we love Destiny and we're not sure about the long-term potential of this game. Let's say some nice stuff about this game, because there's some stuff I love about this game. My top 3 for sure, like the overall look and the cutscenes and all that, gorgeous. I love the gun grind, like the loot and just like the dopamine of it. Just digging it. And I love how much fun it is to play with the fire team. Like, it's great. This game got some things very, very right. What do you guys love about this game?
I will agree with you. It is beautiful. It's a great looking game, and I love dressing up. That would be one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting different hats, making my guy look like a sheriff. And I also really like the loot, like you said. Like getting a new gun is satisfying. And then the seamlessness of the way things, like you pull up your menus and you are in the game and you don't have to travel to a tower. You are like, you walk slowly into your base. I like that. I like the seamlessness.
I learned recently that if you dodge roll as you're going into the base, you can shave like 1.5 seconds off of that slow walk. You guys should try it.
OP.
Bones, what do you like?
I think one thing I could have talked about a lot this episode, but I didn't. I think the way they handle currencies is really great. I understand that there's a lot in this game. There's a lot in Destiny, consumables and all that. Everything seems very organized, and if I'm not using it, it's out of my mind. Whereas like Destiny, I kind of feel like I have this full backpack all the time of all this stuff, and it takes up physical space, virtual physical space, whereas Division just says, you know what, if you need supply, it's listed right here, but you're not going to feel like it's in your backpack the whole time. I really like the way it stays tight and organized like that, and it helps me keep track of what I have. Overall aesthetics, like all three of us have said, it's just so smooth, good looking. Their style choices are just so on point. I think the graphics just overall very good. I mean, it's a AAA game and it's 2016 and it lives up to the mark. I have no problems with the graphics. There's always games that could try to get better and really push it to 60 FPS, 1080p, but I don't have any problems with the game as it is right now. It looks great. And then the last one I like is the forced choice when it comes to perks and abilities. I love that I'm sitting there going like, I love reinforced barriers, but I kind of want to use BB-8, but I love the sticky bomb too, and I need some health for this mission. We're up close and we're always packed up together. I really love that, and it really forces good teamwork and sort of syncing up, saying I'll run health, you run attack, that kind of thing. I really like that decision-making process. 9 out of 10 IGN Crucible Radio.
It's official.
There's 2 Office references in one podcast.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I guess I need to go watch that show again.
I may or may not have told Andrew to edit one or both of those out, but leave them in. Leave them in.
Aha!
Fuck you, I'm funny.
Hey, man, it's tough being a producer. You got to make a lot of hard calls, but so it goes. All right, guys. Well, that's another week of Crucible Radio. Probably our last week of the Dark Zone Radio pirate podcast, which made me happy to hear when I walked into one of those safe houses. But for people who are just checking the show out for the first time, maybe you heard us talking about the Division and you like it. Whether or not you play Destiny, yeah, you should play Destiny, and you should come back next week. I hope you enjoyed the show. And Swain, if they want to learn more about our whole deal, where do they go?
The space internet. That's what we call it. The space internet.
Yeah. You're gonna have to listen to 38 previous episodes for that to make sense. But it's worth it. They're good. They're good episodes.
Yeah, they're hook, line, and sinker right there. Listen to the rest. You can find us on Twitter. It's Crucible Radio. We want you to follow us on YouTube, Crucible Radio. Slap that subscribe button.
Slap it.
So it's so self-abasing to say that, but you really should slap that subscribe button. And check these guys out on Twitch. They're great. Drybones81 and Swain Stash. They're going to be playing some Division. They're going to be playing some Destiny. Check them out.
Hey, speaking of Twitch, I want to give a big shout out to a few people because this past weekend has been hype in the Destiny world. Sneakerhead BSJ hosted a 24-hour trial stream for Down syndrome. He's raised a ton of money. It's been awesome. Shout out to Sneaker, and shout out to Fallout Plays for organizing the Intro to Sweats event, which is just so cool, getting people into a new game mode that they've never experienced or felt too nervous to play before. So great to see all these people just really pushing the Destiny community to stay active, to stay involved, and bringing low skill, high skill, casuals, hardcores together. Awesome stuff, guys.
Thanks for coming by. See you next week.
Bye.
See ya.
From Wildcats. That's Bones' very own improvised music collective. Check them out. It's Wildcats with a Y and a K and a Z.bandcamp.com.